This is KGW News at noon.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Drew Carney. Our top story here at noon is today's potential vote by City Council on a daytime camping ban in Portland. The idea was introduced last week after hours of public testimony and protests outside City Hall. But not all city commissioners are on board with the plan. Commissioner Carmen Rubio tells KGW that she plans to vote no, saying that she believes the ban crosses the line of punishing people for being homeless. She points to the fact that the daytime ban would bring with it the possibility of fines or even jail time for anyone who was warned 3 times to move their tent. Rubio also says she wants more shelter sites in place before a ban is enacted. On the other side, City Commissioners Dan Ryan and Renee Gonzalez both tell KGW they plan to vote yes on the camping ban.
I think it's long overdue. Portlanders have been demanding some real changes on our streets, so I think it's a step in the right direction.
We need to provide services that they'll say yes to, and we need to stop enabling and just allowing people to do illegal things on the street.
So City Council is holding a hearing on the ban this afternoon. If there are any changes made to the ordinance, there would be more public testimony followed by a vote. If the camping ban does pass, it would take effect next month. Also today, Portland City Council is expected to vote on getting rid of minimum parking requirements. If this passes, offices and businesses wouldn't need to offer a minimum number of parking spaces. A state rule adopted just last year gave some cities and parts of counties the option to get rid of minimum parking requirements in an effort to promote alternative transportation. We're also checking in on the city's latest Safe Rest Village in North Portland. The Peninsula Crossing Village near the Peninsula Crossing Trail has only been open for a couple of weeks, but some neighbors are already concerned. Homeowners and renters in the area say they've noticed things like drug use, dozens of cars speeding up and down the roads, and loud noise in and outside of the village. We spoke to the chair of the University Park Neighborhood Association. They told us there actually seems to be some improvement since the site first opened.
Urban Alchemy initially just focused on what's inside the fence. Now they are sending their staff around here. That's happened since Sunday.
At this point, the village is fully operational with 67 residents at last count. The people living there all used to camp alongside the Peninsula Crossing Trail. All right, Rob, we're going to check in with you now in the Weather Center. What are you looking at there this afternoon?
Well, pretty nice afternoon. Certainly more comfortable than it was yesterday's. Temperatures rose back up into the 90s. If you haven't heard, PDX was 92, Salem was 91. We're not going to be nearly that warm this afternoon. You've probably noticed it's not the perfectly clear blue sky that we've seen the last couple of days, and here's why. You can see some showers around Bend outside of the Madras area, and these clouds are pushing over the Cascades back to the west, and it's the high cloud, it's kind of thin high stuff that we see overhead. We'll continue to see that this afternoon. So we were really cloudy at the coast this morning. I wasn't sure everybody would clear, but they have. You can see the marine layer right there out to sea. It's pushed back. So sunny blue skies, 58 degrees. Temperatures getting up into the low 60s at the beach, it looks like. Here's a look at how cloudy it is in some areas. This is East County out at off of Powell. That's a camera out there in Gresham Subaru, and you can see the cloud cover. Downtown Portland, a little breeze along the Willamette River. There's the small boat. There's the big ship from the Royal Canadian Navy as Fleet Week is underway. We're at 71. We're definitely going to get up into the 80s. Not sure if we'll make it to 87, but we'll see. And then still 80 or a little bit better for you this evening. So all in all, warm afternoon, pretty comfortable. 7-day forecast has good weather all the way into Grand Floral Parade Saturday coming up, Drew.
All right, yeah, more from Rod here in just a few minutes, but right now we want to get back to some of our top news headlines this afternoon. We go to Vancouver next, the Salmon Creek area of Clark County to be more exact. A large fire gutted this industrial business in the Salmon Creek area just this morning. Flames destroyed the property and 6 other businesses. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Calls came in about this just before midnight saying flames could be seen in the Pacific Biocontrol building on Northeast 13th Court. Firefighters from Vancouver and Clark County District 6 all responded.
A lot of people's livelihoods were at stake with this building, so they're trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do tomorrow morning or this morning when their employees come to work, and there's really not much left.
Public documents show the 100,000 square foot building was worth nearly $2 million. All right, we'll stay in Washington for this next story. A federal judge has denied a request to block the state's new assault weapons ban. The ban took effect in April, and it bans the sale and manufacture of more than 50 types of guns, including AR and AK-style rifles. Gun rights groups tried to get a judge to pause the law while legal challenges played out in court, but the judge said, given the, quote, exceptional dangerousness of these weapons, the state's interests trump the desires of those who want to buy more guns. All right, here's an update to a story we've been covering for the last few months. Less than a week from now, Legacy Health will reopen its birth center at Mount Hood Medical in Gresham. Legacy closed the birth center in March without the required state approval. At the time, it blamed staffing challenges and not many babies being born there. The president of Mount Hood Medical Center has now released a statement apologizing for the stress, the confusion, and the disruption. The birth center will reopen next Tuesday. Beaverton's City Council just approved its budget for the next fiscal year, and now librarians are facing job cuts. Beaverton City Council had to close a $1 million shortfall within the library fund. So it proposed cutting hours and librarians at the Murray Shoals branch from 7 days a week to just 4. Last night, the City Council passed a workaround. It's an amendment that allows it to pull money from a vacant job in its equity and inclusion program. So that means the library can open 5 days a week, and only 8 librarians will be let go instead of 9. Here's what one librarian had to say before that amendment passed.
By cutting our open hours down to 4 days a week, which no other library in Washington County does, and completely gutting our staff, you would be destroying the community that our staff have built over the past 13 years.
Again, that's the situation playing out in Beaverton. This is part of a $10 million deficit in the general fund. The city blames inflation and financial strain brought on by the pandemic. With that, we're going to take our first break here at noon. These are some of the stories we're covering on the other side of the break. The latest on a mass shooting at a graduation ceremony in Richmond, Virginia yesterday. What we've learned about the people who were killed. Plus, terrible air quality on the East Coast, some of the worst in the world for New York City today. And it's all because of wildfires that continue to burn in Canada. We'll have more on this in just a minute.